So I'm living in Mexico and I'm studying indigenous languages, and I'm currently working on this lesson to teach people how to shop in Nahuatl. And the more that I learn this, the more I want to talk about this important idea that I feel. But let's learn something real cool about the Mexican dialect of Spanish real quick. So if you've lived in Mexico, you've definitely been to a tianguis before, but tianguis feels like a different kind of word in Mexican Spanish. And this may exist in other countries in Latin America, but I'm not aware. And if it's true, then let me know. But the tianguis originates from an indigenous word. Now, the word tianguis comes from the word tianguisli, which is a market or a place to do business. And to do business or to do trade is tiamiki. Now, again, this is something that I'm currently learning, so there are other morphemes and words that I'm not aware of that I'm exploring and learning. But in Spanish from Europe, it would be mercado or a bazar, because bazar comes from Arabic origins, and there's a lot of Arabic history in Spain. Now, the idea that I'm talking about, and this is probably something that drives indigenous folks crazy, is that we very much continue to live under this history. It's not this thing or this relic of the past that is forgotten or lost. It's something that we live in constantly. And the idea is that this culture, this history, this language is something that's more accessible than we actually believe. And the more that you learn this kind of stuff, the more possible it is to essentially restore and revitalize things that may have been lost in history due to ignorance, due to indifference, due to believing that things aren't actually possible. But yes, when you're in Mexico and living in Mexico and you're going to a tianguis, you're ultimately participating in some form of indigenous culture. And ultimately, it's just something to think about, like how much more of this stuff actually exists that we may or may not be aware of.